John and Carrie, that's great. A lot of good questions. Just like to take a little bit of time now to ask around the sexual part of your relationship and how you're doing there. Carrie, I know you had a chance to hear a lot of new information at the seminar. Wondering if you had a chance to go home and talk to John about the information and any questions that might have come from that.
Well, I brought the binder home. We had a look at it together. I went through some things. I did the best that I could to tell him about some of the things that I had learned. But
okay. And John, anything that that came up in the sense of questions for you with that discussion? Or?
I mean, it made sense. It's just the biggest thing I think is just kind of figuring out how to get into it.
Yeah. It is hard, and many couples really do feel a bit stuck. Is it okay if I ask a few questions about kind of how you're doing at this point? All right. Tell me a little bit about kind of, as a couple, how you're doing sexually at this point, just to give you some ideas. We find that many couples, once there's difficulties within their sexual relationship, whether it's troubles with intercourse, pain, erection difficulties, whatever it is that's stressing that part of their relationship, they often find they'll kind of avoid it completely. Others might find that they'll continue to be sexual and do other things other than what stresses them. Can I ask how the two of you have kind of approached things?
well, we've been together for 5 years, and for the first couple of years, things were great. It's really just been in the last year after the pain started that we really don't do anything at all anymore.
Okay. So it's been a while now that basically you've just found yourself kind of leaving that piece of the relationship aside. Okay. Have you been able to talk about that at all?
We talk about it. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I found the program and we signed up for the program, but I mean, it's obviously causing problems in our relationship.
Okay. And again, it's kind of talking, and it's just getting it started again. That's the big thing. Yeah, and just kind of know how to go about doing that.
Well, it is great that first of all you're here at the program and both here today. That's actually one of the most positive prognostic factors as far as how a couple will do, just that you're both here and willing to participate, so that's really good. It is a hard one, and you're not alone. Most couples do find themselves in this situation when they start to have to deal with difficulties within a sexual relationship. No matter how good as a couple they are and how they communicate sort of outside the sexual relationship, and even how good the sexual relationship might have been prior to the difficulty, it's really common that it's just an area of our lives that we don't do well when there's difficulties to kind of know how to approach it and what to do. Part of that is the sensitivities you have to each other, in the sense of not wanting to hurt or to say something wrong. You want to support one another and be sensitive to one another. So this, what we're doing today is really good, and really obviously the first step in kind of starting to look at together what is reasonable, what is workable for the two of you to, reconnect in the sense of that sexual experience. Now, one of the things that many couples find is when they kind of adapted to not being sexual together. And often for couples that get along, they can do that fairly well because they enjoy other things together. If you kind of just let it happen, or hope it happens in the sense of let's wait for tomorrow and see how the day goes and maybe we'll have time, that kind of thing, it just tends to not happen because you'll think about it, it's kind of stressful. I don't know how it's going to go. Are we going to be frustrated, angry, sad? So let's go and do something we're good at. Let's go for a walk. Let's have a coffee. Let's enjoy that time. So the idea is that couples really do have to plan time. And it sounds kind of funny because we kind of think of sex as something that's supposed to be spontaneous and just kind of happen. But in fact, we know from couples that do well together sexually through a lifetime together, they will tell you that the key is planning. They have to make time for themselves. So that's the first thing. So just sort of looking at the schedules, saying no to different things that might be filling that time at this point and saying, okay, let's put this hour of time aside for us. Now the next step is, okay, well, what are we going to do with that hour? So when we talked about in the seminar the idea of when intercourse is causing problems, it's hurting, it's not giving a benefit to either of you in the sense of your sexual relationship. So that idea that it together kind of agreeing, okay, let's just leave it for the moment. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help me, but are there other things we can do? Do we have options to be sexual together? Is there other ways that we can touch, that we can play, that we can enjoy each other in a sexual way, sensual way, lead back into having arousal like you used to, enjoyment of that, orgasms if that's part of it or not, but clearly be sure in both your minds that intercourse isn't going to be part of that.